Hi all, Vatsal Shah, your host again, and now we are moving towards the end of the day, and now we will have a couple of interesting talks about industry trends as well. Now I have Mr. Vishal Patel. He's the CEO of Mage Monkeys, and then they proudly say that we don't monkey around clients' business and money, and that they are very focused about it. They have been serving. IT. They are into the IT since 18 years now and serving various e-commerce merchants and the retailers and wholesalers since many years. And today, Mr. Vishal is going to talk about food and beverages industry, where they have created championship, and then they are having multiple clients in that industry in different part of world. He's going to talk on next wave of growth in e-commerce, which is F&B industry. Vishal bhai, it's over to you.
Hi all, thank you for having me here at Make Magento. Today, given the opportunity, I'm going to share some insights on segment which is food and beverages. This segment is, as such, was not very popular, but looking at the current trends and it looks like that this is going to be the most fastest growing trend segment in next 10 years. And I would like to share some of the insights that why it will be fastest growing, what are the segments in it, and what things we need to take care while creating a site or platform for this domain. So I would like to start with, like, in India we say roti, kapda and makan. So that is like food, cloth and our house. So that is the most important common thing. Now, regarding kapda, we've been ordering clothes and all that from long time. Makan still, housing is still run on the agent basis. There are successful ventures online regarding housing, but still none of them have able to capture that kind of great market. So maybe that would be the last one to come. But the roti, that is the food which is picking up the trend. So I would like to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So in that, the basic needs is like food. Then comes the other need. Now, though the food was the basic need, it came very late into the e-commerce market. And the main reason I would say is the changing the habit. So it is not easy to change the habit of people that easily, and that is why it came very late into the market. So I would say, so as of now, rest of the things we are ordering, so we would say, let's say the trends are saying this is about the US market, so which is almost would be equal to India. So in April, and it's almost 30%, 28.9% is been bought online, while as of now the food is only 3.2%. So if you see, there's a huge gap to fill. So right now, 96% of food is not bought online. And that, if you see the rest of the other segments, which are about 20 to 25%. So food is as of now just being 3.2%. There is a lot to cover in that. So as per the certain trends which are coming up, we are going to see some 10x growth by 2025. So they are saying that by 2025, the food segment will be covering, so let's say up till 25% of the e-commerce segment. So 75% maybe people still go out or eat and maybe go to store to buy the things, but 25% will be bought online, and which is amazing and big number. So growth of 10x is expected by 2025. Now, why this happened, and how are we going to take the opportunity, going to use the opportunity of this? So if you'll see that because of the pandemic and lockdowns and everything, everyone caught slipping. Big B2B agencies were not having any kind of online ordering systems or where things can be ordered online, and that plugged up the whole supply chain from top to the bottom. So because of that, you are not able to order food online, or I would say groceries and all that kind of stuff. And because of that, what happened that we had to go and stand into the queues into grocery stores to buy the things. And people, like in India, we were I personally had went and like stood for almost 1 hour for a grocery, which has never ever did in my life. So that kind of thing we caught up. If we had a better online systems of ordering and things, it could be a lot better. Grofers was there who were delivering online. There were certain other local stores were also delivering online, but they were not having enough manpower, and everybody caught slipping. Second thing happened was on-demand food delivery app. So that become a big business. Like everyone started ordering food. Everyone was like afraid to go out, and so the on-demand app. I'm sure every one of you must be having one or two app, maybe Zomato or Swiggy or some apps. So if you are in like foreign country, maybe Uber Eats having in your phone. So that become a very in thing where you would be ordering at least twice or thrice through these apps. Another thing which came into the picture was about the cloud kitchens. A lot of companies came in who were not having any front stores or nothing and just providing food. And that concept is called the cloud kitchen, and that also become very popular. So let's say if your client is having a low budget, they don't have much to have a store or something, they may just start from home or some maybe from a garage, and they can just sign up or create a website and deliver the things. So what we are seeing is a big permanent shift in Generation X, millennials, and Generation Z. I would say so. Generation Z, I would say like people like me who were born into 80s and all that. So everyone moved towards like online shopping and e-commerce and like online grocery and all that things. Now, so I would like to discuss, there are four segments in this thing, F&B segment. So one is B2B, another is B2C, D2C, and the last one is the food aggregator apps. I would say about the food aggregator apps, everyone knows about it. They're like Swiggy and Zomato and Uber Eats of the world, and you can easily order. So I'm not going to speak a lot about it in this, but I'll talk about the other three segments, which would be I'll be discussing the features about each of this segment. Now, if we talk about B2C, so B2C is kind of a JioMart. Grofers are B2C, where you can order the food online. When I say food, there are two kinds of food. So one is like raw food, so kind of grocery, and another is an actual food. So B2C, we would say, I'm talking about more of like Grofers and JioMart, where you can easily order the food online. So that was one segment. Another segment which came into very popular was a D2C. D2C is like, because of this trend, directly certain retailers have started, certain manufacturers started selling things online. So we are seeing a lot of coffee brands selling their coffees online directly. Right now, we can even see like certain brands like Domino's, maybe Lapinos, they have started selling their food through websites and app directly. Thirdly, I would talk about B2B. So B2B is a segment which is not touched at all and is having the immense potential. So B2B is where, let's say, restaurants would be ordering the for online. So let's say there is some big wholesaler in the market, and through which there's restaurants or caterers or big places would be ordering the food to ordering the grocery and things to that. So that is a B2B segment. So so let's discuss about first of all some of the essential features for B2C and D2C. Now, normally every one of you must have worked on a lot of e-commerce sites, but if you consider the food segment, it is a lot different. And there are certain different rules in that. And when we are creating this website, so if you are an agency or developer, or maybe you are having your own store, you'll have to make sure that these features must be covered in your website to make sure that it becomes successful. So very basic feature. So let's say in India, we call methi. So now in English, it is called fenugreek. Now, if someone goes online, and I'm having an online store where I'm selling vegetables, if I go and search for, nobody knows actually what would we call methi in English. So it is very important that local or regional name in the food items has to be there. So let's say if you are putting down any item, just you need to have both local name and English name to it, so that people can easily find it. So that is the prime important feature you shouldn't be missing if you are into the food segment. Another thing, being a food segment, though if you are a B2C, D2C, but the clarity on delivery is very important. Reason behind that is, let's say if I'm ordering the food, so maybe I must be having some plan of maybe today, tomorrow, or maybe max day after tomorrow. I may not be ordering something like in a food segment after 4-5 days, or I may ready to wait for 1 week. So maybe if you ordered a cloth or maybe something else, you could wait for 1 week, 10 days, even a month. But regarding food, that is not possible. So when you are creating a site or regarding the food, then you need to make sure that you are having a very clear. So let's say if we see this image where this is of Licious. So they have clearly given that they deliver in 90 minutes. That's amazing. So if like 90 minutes is a great time, so I can prepare the food if you deliver today in 90 minutes. So given a clarity, people will right away order. So it's not that you should just show it in the end that when you will get delivered. So better you just show it over there that when it will be delivered, and it has to be the quickest. Regarding food item, it is being perishable. It is very important that you show the postcode also, because there are very high chances that certain postcodes or zip code are not reachable everywhere, and you need to make sure that you are able to reach there. So you need to make sure that we itself in the cart or maybe in the product section, we give the option of delivery check, so that customer can check that are you going to deliver it on their zip code or not. Okay, another important point of like food is, if you better can give them option of delivery slots also, because this is something like if people are working or maybe not at home, then they need to know that when you are going to deliver. It is not something that normally which happens in India. Delivery guy calls, oh, I'm coming here to deliver, and then you say, oh, come tomorrow because I'm not at home. It is related to food, so it is better we give them an option that okay, when it will be delivered. Okay, being in India, our experience is COD matters a lot. If you are planning to open a site in India, and if it is an e-commerce, then there's like COD is must. One important thing is being the food and this segment, if it is a D2C or B2C, mostly it is going to be ordered by females. So when females are ordering, there are high chances that they may not have a right away credit card with them, or maybe don't have an access to bank account. So if you give them the cash facility, it would help you a lot to increase your order percentage. So COD facility is must in India if you are into food segment. Being a repeat purchase item, I would suggest that mobile app is also very important thing. So let's say there are very high chances that first order. So let's say when I ordered through Grofers in India, the first order was through a website, because I don't want to just download an app which I don't know how it is. So mostly when you have ordered through Domino's or any such places, so first we try through website, and then we go for an app. Now, why we need an app? Because there are very high chances that people are going to reorder the items. So it is very important that if you are into this segment, you need to go for an app, because then only it will make very convenient for your customer to reorder the items. So as I said about the reordering, okay. One other important point is when I was using Grofers, so maybe as of now also it is not there in their app. There's no place where I can just go and reorder the things. The problem is, if I'm having certain items ordered, I'm going to order it regularly every month. So why just can't have an option that I go into some segment where I can view my past order and just click reorder? So if you're doing something related to food, please make sure that reordering has to be the easiest way, because this is something like people are going to buy. There's a repeat purchase. It's not like some other segment like clothes or books where you're not going to buy same product again. Food is an item when you are going to buy again. So please make sure in website, in app, the reordering facility is easy to do. Now, there are certain additional features. If you are going to go for this site, then it would be useful for the customers for D2C. One is if you can show the sourcing info. So Lycius is a brand which are into meat products, and they have clearly shown that from where the sourcing of the meat is happening. So if this creates a brand loyalty, and customer would love you, that okay, they know about your product. So from where you are sourcing, what you are, from where you are bringing the product. So if in your food segment, if you are having such products and if you show the sourcing info, it would be immensely useful. In food segment, this is also one important thing, that if you can show the recipes also, because recipes is something like if I'm ordering something and I know something, so I'm going to cook from it. But if you show other 10 options that okay, you can cook this things also from it, then definitely they may be reordering. So recipes would be another useful thing. And lastly, the subscription. So there's nothing better than subscription. So Amazon also in certain products started offering that if you're buying something for 300 rupees, and if you buy in under the subscription, they offer you it for maybe 290 or 285. So in food products, you can have such kind of subscription because you know that they are going to have a repeat purchase. And subscription is better in a way where without spending any extra marketing money, you can get the repeat orders. So subscription also very good, important feature in your website. Now I'm going to speak some of the B2B features which are very essential for the food segment. Okay, so one of the prime important feature for a B2B customer, so maybe it's a food or not, it's a credit limit. So you need to have very clear mention of the credit limits, like what kind of credit limit your customer is going to have. Because without it, there are very high chances that because these numbers are very huge numbers. So we have one of the client, B2B client, whose yearly sale is around 130 million pound. So that kind of figures they are. So now most of the things they don't order, the payment doesn't come right away. So they have very high credit limit given to each of the customers, so they can easily order. So credit limit is something where you can give easily, and payments are done or settled maybe once a month. So credit limit is one of the most important feature of the B2B. Second important feature is like purchase order. So maybe so right away I'm not paying, right away I'm maybe not ordering, so just a purchase order is sent. So in B2B, this feature is also equivalently important, where you give a facility to your client to create a purchase order, because in many organizations they work on the systems, and the purchase order is a mandatory thing. So another important part is we need to have is the purchase order option, where this can be done. Another option where you can see is the call me. So call me is also equivalently important feature, wherein customer is bit confused about something, and being a B2B, the chunk of the amount would be a big amount. So you can give them an option of calling you. So if there is some confusion, they can call you back and maybe modify the order, or you can help them out. So call me is also one good feature we should have in our B2B site. Another is dynamic pricing we need to have in, again, our B2B portals. So where is, let's say, if I buy 5, then you get certain price. If I buy 10, certain price. This is bare minimum basic feature of our B2B. Okay, this is another important point. So if you are having a B2B portal and you are a wholesaler, you need to have channel-wise pricing. So maybe you may have some integrated with multiple e-commerce sites. So you may be selling your products to Amazon, maybe on Walmart, maybe through Etsy, or any other e-commerce website. So it is important that what kind of pricing strategies you are having, because there are very high chances that Amazon is charging certain commission and eBay is charging certain commission. So if you are having B2B side, and you need to have pricing differently, because the commission level would be different from each of the site. So it is important that we keep this kind of feature. Again, ERP integrations are prime important, and PIM, the product information management, is also very important. So in any of our B2B site, when you are discussing with the features with your client, please make sure that you ask that, okay, what kind of ERP integration you are looking for. Maybe they must have forgot, or maybe they, didn't know about that you can even integrate with it. So in any of the B2B side, it is very important that you ask your client that what kind of ERP integration we need to do, so that it would be a lot easier for you to manage. Because it has happened with us that we created the whole website for our customer, and then they, at the end moment, they came to us that we want ERP integration. We were like, okay, we can do it. But he was like, no, but all of my products and everything will come from there. I'm not going to enter through the website. I was like, why did we do this much of work then? So it is important that you have a very good clarity that like what kind of data are going to come, what kind of things you are going to push through them, and get it sorted before you start the site. Another important feature, if you are having a B2B website, is a sales rep app. So in B2B commerce, sales rep is a very common thing, where a lot of sales reps are there who goes to, have their individual customer and to take the orders. So it is important that there has to have a sales rep login and an app for them, so they can go into customer place and they can take the orders. So this is like screenshot of one of our client we had created, and the app for them. So it is like the app we created was offline. Now the reason came that why offline? Now when the sales rep were going to these places, there were big warehouses and that kind of places where they were going to take the orders for the from their B2B customer, and most of the time the internet was not available, and it was creating a huge problem for them. So the whole app we created offline, wherein once the order is being taken, later on, whenever they get time, they can sync the order online. So it is very important that when you are creating a B2B portal, you can offer your customer sales rep app also. So as I said that again, like offline app, so you can see through a screenshot here in the presentation, where all different kind of things we were syncing. So we were syncing customer, syncing products, syncing orders. So it's not necessary that you sync everything at one go, because you may have like thousands of customers. So you need to give functionality in a way where sales rep can easily manage the app. So main thing is like F&B is a way forward where there is a lot of good opportunities are there. Now it is very important that we start finding this opportunity, who is looking for it, or maybe we can just go and present to our customers that, okay, if it is a like food into food segment, or beverages segment, we can go and check it out that, okay, we can create a B2B portal for you, or we can create some marketing plan for them. So I would say that there's a great opportunity lying ahead for next 10 years in this segment. So let's try to grab this opportunity, and we can grow our business. So thank you very much for having me and listening me here. If you have anything, you can even connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn. And if you have any question, maybe Vatsal, you can ask if you have any questions.
No, as of now, we don't have any questions coming in, but it was great talk, and I think you guided all of us that what all 4 models are available in F&B and which we should pick at what time, and you went on with the great features. So I think that people will remember this talk when they were prescribing solution to F&B clients, specifically in B2B and B2C. Thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom. And
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, and then guys, now we will go on 30 minutes break, and then we will see you back at 3:30, and we will have next round of sessions coming after a tea break. Thank you.